Well, we do have our own volunteer organization here in Howard County. It's called Neighbor Ride, and Brad Kloss will basically go through what he does and what he doesn't do. Brad?
Thank you, Paul, and thanks to the Howard County Citizens Association for the opportunity to be here today. Next slide, please. You've heard some things from Dana earlier about the increase in people who in our county. This was a 55-plus graph that was generated a few years ago. It could easily be more by now, but you saw those statistics earlier. Next slide, please. Back in around 2000, 2001, there was a survey in the county that determined that the two greatest unmet needs for seniors in the county were medical care and transportation. So it was one of the greatest unmet needs. Next slide, please. Don't go away. So as a result of a lot of work done, in 2004, Neighbor Ride was formed to provide volunteer transportation service in Howard County, and this is our current mission. We have it posted all over the office, so we all remember each day when we come into work or volunteer Neighbor Ride why we're there. Next slide. This is how Neighbor Ride operates. We're for Howard County residents. Since there are volunteer drivers using their own vehicles, the passengers do need to be able to get in and out of the vehicles. We provide 12 round-trip rides a month, and we had actually, that used to be 10, and we upped it to 12. And we asked for that request to be 3 business days in advance. That gives us a chance to find a volunteer. The result of all this is that over 98% of all the requested rides get delivered. We do have a fare structure. Currently 35% of the people who use Neighbor Ride are subsidized and they're not paying anything. So we make sure that we are available to everyone regardless of their ability to pay. We've invested a lot in a custom program. This allows our volunteers to accept rides online and greatly streamlines the ability to link a passenger request to a volunteer. And I did a check the other day, and out of about 200 rides that were out there available, all but 10 had been accepted online. So that's a huge investment we've made to provide a flexible and easy volunteer assignment. Next slide, please. Well, the people that do the heavy lifting at Neighbor Ride are the volunteers. Currently, we have over 340 volunteers. That may sound like a lot, and it is, but that's what it takes to get the job done. That's how we're doing 98% of the rides that we get asked to do. We also have volunteer ride coordinators who come in the office. Typically, there's a Monday group and a Tuesday group and a Wednesday group, and even a couple of years back, we went to Saturday hours as well. The volunteers are there every day, 9 till 2 to accept rides, and on Saturdays from 10 till 1. So these are the people that do the heavy lifting that make Neighbor Ride happen. Next slide, please. Their efforts are supported by 4 part-time staff, and you can see the volunteer coordinators have the job of handling all things volunteer, and the call center currently is running over 2,500 calls a month. So we have a community outreach coordinator, and last of all, we have me, who does everything that they don't do. Actually, I made this slide and then I went back and checked, and sometime around the end of this month we will do our 75,000th trip. Wow. So it is 73,000 plus. And the 1,000 plus passengers is the number we've served over time, not the current number. Next slide, please. So when Neighbor Ride started in November of 2004, there were 17 trips, and this month we have well over 1,200 scheduled in this month, and today's the 12th. Now a lot of those are scheduled throughout the whole month. People schedule in advance, but it will continue to grow. Next slide, please. This is where we go, where we take people. Virginia mentioned the need to get people to all sorts of things that enhance their quality of life. If you start at 12 o'clock and work around, medical is almost always about 50% of what we do. Sometimes it's 51, sometimes it's 49, but it's usually over 50. And then the other things that we provide work around the chart. But you can see the personal category includes getting out to a restaurant, going shopping, whatever, and there's a shopping category as well. So whatever it is people want to do, we try to get them there. Next slide. This is how we get funded and how we're able to do this. So starting with the yellow up on top, the corporate contributions. We do get individual contributions as well. We are a recipient of the State of Maryland grant for volunteer senior ride program. It's very helpful. The Howard County CSP, which is part of the Department of Citizen Services, is a very helpful funder. And we get other grants and awards. And as I said earlier, we do charge a small fee. And we have special events periodically, like restaurant nights, and there's a Athelton Community Triathlon that benefited us, and the COGS has benefited us in the past. Next, please. We survey our passengers after their first ride, and then every 6 months, and we ask them, were we on time, but how did our process work, and we ask if we improved their quality of life. And every once in a while we don't, but pretty generally 100% of our passengers say that we have improved their quality of life. So this is the recognition. They also have a chance to provide comments, and these are some of the comments we've gotten. Next slide. In addition to the recognition from our passengers, we've gotten a wonderful recognition in the community. We're accredited as a Better Business Bureau charity a couple of years ago. That ensures people who do donate to us that we are good stewards of their money. We've won awards from ACS and the Community Foundation and some other things. So we're very appreciative of the fact that the community appreciates us and what we're able to do. However, we always have work to do. No volunteers equals no rides. So we're always looking for volunteers. If anybody here is interested, you can give us a call or check our website. Of course, we also have to have funding. Without volunteers, we can't do anything, but we still need money to run the infrastructure and have everything we need to have for our passengers. We're going to keep investing in our database so that it can be even more friendly and flexible to volunteers, and they've asked us to automatically place the rides on their calendars as more and more people get phones that do that and are electronic. We've looked at partnerships to supplement supplemental. We work with Winter Growth, we work with the ARC to use their vehicles, and we work with several organizations in the county. What keeps us going is referrals. Passengers talk to other passengers. Recently, in the month of July, we get about 15 new passengers a month until July when we got 30 in 1 month. And we're on track to do that again this month as well. In August I haven't, but August and September have been very, very strong with new passenger registration. So that makes looking for volunteers even more important. And we have a staff and board who are the right people to advance the mission, so we have a great board. Next slide. Why does it work? Well, I think one of the biggest reasons it works is the foresight of the founders. If you look at what's happened over, we're in our 9th year, we're pretty much doing what the founders said we were going to do. Yes, we've made it more flexible and it's bigger and there's more people, but the people who got together and thought up NeighborRide and thought up how it should operate, we're still doing that today. So that's very important. So I've talked a little bit about some of these other things. I think another thing is that many friendships are created. We often hear about off-the-books NeighborRide rides, which aren't a problem for us, that's for sure. We enjoy when our volunteers make friends with passengers and on their own they can do whatever they would like with these people that they meet. The other thing that we do is we say thank you a lot. Next slide, please. Okay, then we only have a few concerns. For a few reasons, rides are not always picked up by volunteers. We work with distance, and we work with drivers who think that Howard County is a big county, and some people who live on one side don't want to go to the other side. So we're always looking for volunteers in the east and volunteers in the west. Next slide, please. So Paul asked me to talk about what Neighbor Ride is and what it isn't. And so this is what it isn't. It's not neighborhood ride. We just got a bill for neighborhood ride this week. We're not neighbor care. That's a pharmacy. And we're not a county government agency, which some people think we are. Next slide, please. This is what we are. We had a little brainstorming of this around the office. So here's what we try to be every day. So you can read that. And next slide. That's it. Thank you.
Brad, thank you very much. Our own homegrown volunteer organization.